Did you know Christmas actually has absolutely nothing to do with the story of Jesus Christ? In ancient indigenous civilizations, they celebrated the winter solstice. The etymology of the word solstice goes back to ancient times, where sol refers to the sun, and the second part of the word refers to standing still, or also meaning to set in place. Solstice also derives from the Latin word solstitium, meaning the point at which the sun seems to stand still. It's also important to note that the word Christ comes from the Greek word Christos, which comes from the Kemetic Medo-Neter word Karest, which means the rising of the spirit. Ka meaning spirit, rest meaning to rise. During the winter solstice from December 21st to December 24th, the sun reaches its lowest point before rising again 3 days later. The ancients believed that during this time the sun died, and so they celebrated its rebirth on December 25th, when the sun rose again. They celebrated with a 2-week festival that consisted of cultural and spiritual festivities. Many cultures still celebrate the winter solstice today. These celebrations go all the way back to 4000 BC in ancient Kemet. Our ancestors celebrated the sun because they lived off of the land. So observing the movements of the sun helped them to keep up with the seasons in regards to planting and harvesting crops, as well as preparing for drought. They were well aware that we couldn't live without the sun, and so when it rose again, they knew that that meant an abundance in crops. Our ancestors were the world's first astronomers, agriculturalists, astrologers, scientists, and spiritualists. Therefore, they knew that we were directly connected to the sun. They knew that if we aligned our minds, bodies, and souls with the cycles of the sun, we would thrive just as the crops did. During this time, our ancestors went into hibernation. They reflected, went into deep meditation, as well as performed many different spiritual rituals that helped them to get rid of negative behaviors and habits that no longer served them, in order to be reborn, just like the sun. The ancients considered this as the sun's birthday. As far as Santa Claus, candy canes, and reindeer, these all go back to different points in time and different cultures, and none of them have anything to do with Christ either. It's important to understand that the way we do things now is not how we've always done things. Throughout time, many traditions have been mixed up and intertwined. Therefore, we've forgotten how we originally did things, as well as why we even do things the way that we do in the present moment. For many of us, we just want to celebrate and have a good time. For others, these traditions have been passed down generations, and so it's just become the norm. Too many people celebrate these holy days without actually taking a moment to question why or what they're celebrating. In Rome, the Romans celebrated Saturnalia in honor of Saturn, the Roman god of agriculture and time. Keep in mind that the Greeks and Romans pretty much learned and stole everything they knew from ancient Africa after spending decades studying and learning from our ancestors. Anyway, Saturnalia became the most popular holy day on the Roman calendar. This holiday derived from midwinter farming rituals and the winter solstice celebrations of those that came before them. It consisted of gift giving and sacrifices given to their gods. It began as a single day celebration, but by 133 BC, it expanded to a week-long festival beginning on December 17th, which was 1225 on the Julian calendar that the Romans used at the time. During the holy day, there was no school, work, or matters of law. People decorated their homes, and even the enslaved did not have to work. Romans spent the festival gambling, singing, playing music, eating, socializing, and exchanging gifts. In 336 AD, Pope Julius I declared 1225-336 AD as the first day Christmas was to be celebrated, in an effort to adopt and absorb the traditions of Saturnalia and the winter solstice. In the story of Jesus Christ, Jesus was not born in the winter, and his birthday was not celebrated until the 4th century, which is when the Catholic Church decided to institute the birth of Jesus as a national holiday. By holding Christmas at the same time as traditional winter solstice festivals, Catholic leaders knew that they'd increase the chances of the holy day becoming popularly embraced. On this newly founded holy day, believers would go to church, get drunk, and then celebrate raucously in the streets. Yeah, doesn't sound too religious, does it? As a matter of fact, the first nativity scene for the holy day wasn't created until 1223 by Saint Francis in order to cultivate the worshiping of Christ. Even Martin Luther King Jr. wrote a letter about the influence of Isis, Osiris, and ancient Kemetic mystery schools on present-day Christianity. But that's the Martin Luther King Jr. that they don't want you to know about. Let me know in the comment section if you were aware of these facts. Also, let me know what these holy days mean to you.